You've been asking me to do breakfast meal prep, so that's what we're going to be doing in this one. And for this, we're going to be making a nice bacon, egg and spinach egg mix, then baking it in the oven till it's soft and fluffy, also making a tomato relish. So let's get straight into it. Please sit back, relax and enjoy. Alright, starting off, we're going to be making a really easy tomato relish. So with a saucepan over high heat, add in 2 cans of diced or crushed tomatoes, obviously for the base. Then follow that up with half a cup or 90 grams of brown sugar for a nice molasses-like sweetness. 1/4 of a cup or 60 milliliters of red wine vinegar for an acidic sweetness, 1 tablespoon or 20 milliliters of balsamic vinegar for an increased depth and a little more acid, and a pinch of sea salt flakes to taste. This can then be given a quick mix through, bringing it to a boil in the process, and this right here has a really nice balance of sweet, salty and acidic flavors that once cooked down develop into something extremely delicious. Once this is at a boil, reduce the heat to medium-low, and whilst mixing occasionally, let it reduce down for 50 minutes to 1 hour or until nice and thick. With the relish doing its thing in the background, we can then do everything else. So here is 10 rashers of streaky bacon, which comes from the belly, but back bacon is perfectly fine to use too. And I'm personally slicing it into large strips so it doesn't dry out when cooking, but if you prefer to dice it or slice it smaller, just do what you prefer, but it is better on the larger side. Place a large pan over medium-high heat. Whilst the pan is still cold, add in the sliced or diced bacon and fry this off for 2 to 2.5 minutes or until it starts heavily sizzling, the fat has started to render and it's becoming a very light golden colour, mixing it around regularly. Once achieved, add in 100 grams or 3.5 ounces of washed baby spinach, and if you've cooked baby spinach before, you'll know that it feels like it cooks down to pretty much like 1 leaf's worth. Anyway, add in a small pinch of sea salt flakes, which is optional as the bacon is already salty, and continue frying this for 1 minute just until the spinach is only just wilted. It will also pick up the bacon fat, increasing the flavour, but not so much nutrition, and once wilted, this can then be removed and let cool for 10 minutes. For the egg mix, some eggs would probably be a good idea, so here is 12 large free-range eggs that could be cracked on a flat bench, which prevents any shell hopping in, and then add these to a mixing bowl. To this, also add in 1/4 of a cup or 60 milliliters of thickened cream for a really nice smooth and creamy texture, which can be substituted for milk, a pinch of sea salt flakes to taste, and cracked black pepper. 20 cracks worth. Let's then get a whisk in there and beat this up until it's nice and smooth, ensuring that all of those yolks are completely broken up. Add in the cooked bacon and spinach mix, getting in all of those pan flavors, and then gently fold this all together just until everything is evenly combined. Next, lightly coat a baking dish with some spray oil or softened unsalted butter so that our eggs don't stick. Gently pour in the egg mix, making sure to add every last bit, and then use a spoon to give this a little mix to evenly spread everything out so that it's not all bunched up. This can then be taken to a preheated oven set at 170 degrees Celsius or 340 degrees Fahrenheit and bake for 18 to 20 minutes or until lightly firm and set. Right about now, our tomato relish is reduced down and thickened really nicely, which is exactly what we want. This can now be removed from the stovetop and, while still hot, place it into a sterilised or extremely clean jar, filling it to the top, then place on a lid tightly and allow it to cool down before placing it into the fridge for up to 3 weeks, and it can also be frozen for up to 4 months. Going back to the oven, our delicious eggs have now puffed up really well and have set. Remove this from the oven and allow it to cool down for 10 minutes. In the meantime, let's prepare our English muffins, to which we need 6 of, and you can use any different bread style you prefer. Whichever bread you do end up using, slice these in half to open them up, place them onto a baking tray lined with parchment paper, and you may need to do this over 2 trays. This part's optional, but I'm also giving them a generous spread of unsalted butter, which will not only add flavour but also helps add moisture upon reheating, and once done, place them into the oven at the same temperature, but on the grill or broiler setting, and toast to your liking, flipping them halfway through, and I should say that it is better to slightly undercook these. Now that our delicious eggs have set, these can be sliced through the centre lengthways, then evenly slice it into thirds, trying your best to be as even as possible, leaving us with this beautiful bacon, egg and spinach frittata style cake. As for serving up, generously place on the tomato relish on both sides of the English muffin or the bread of your choice, place in the frittata cake, then top with some American cheddar cheese or use any cheese of your choice and place on the other side of the muffin to close it up. With that done, put them back onto the lined baking tray, take them back over to the oven, still on the grill or broiler setting, and toast for 1 to 1.5 minutes just until the cheese starts to melt and ooze down the sides, then remove and turn off the oven. With storage, you can wrap these up however you want, but I've got some sandwich wrap paper here that I'm going to fold over one side, place over the other, bending about 1 centimeter backwards to then crimp down the sides, triangular fold the edges, and tuck it underneath. And no, I've never worked in fast food, I would have just punched this as well to give it that certain authenticity. With these done, place them in the fridge for up to 2 days and in the freezer for up to 3 months. And as for reheating, place them under the grill or broiler until hot. Place them in the microwave, which isn't the best option, or you can simply eat them cold. Eat them whole or slice them in half, making sure you don't nearly pull it off the bench like I did here, leaving us with these beautiful, full of flavour breakfast muffins. And like always, here is all of the nutritional values, which leaves us with the best bit, and that is we can then dig in.